You'd think shooting is an important skill in modern basketball. These players would disagree. Here are the NBA's all-time worst shooters. Three-pointers. Michael Jordan is the worst shooter ever. Okay, he's not. But he also kind of is. When we're talking about the three-point competition at the All-Star Game. 1990 was the first year MJ really started taking and making threes. He was among the league leaders in three-point percentage. So, the NBA decided to milk his superstardom and spice up the three-point competition. And it didn't end well. Jordan made just 5 of 30 shots. To this day, the worst ever three-point contest performance. But when talking about real NBA games, there are other All-Stars and Hall of Famers on the worst three-point shooters list. Easily the worst bricklayer from deep, with over 1,000 attempts, is Charles Barkley. While competing against Ernie Johnson at the Inside the NBA version of the three-point contest, we learned Ernie's pretty darn good in the driveway, and Chuck is not. He made only 26.6% of the 2020 career threes he attempted. No wonder he hated jump shooting teams, and encouraged players to spend more time in the post. Sounds like a personal problem. The second worst shooter behind the arc is Corey Brewer. In 2014, he went off for a 51-point game, not a single three. This is not surprising because he only made 28.2% of three-pointers in his career. At number 3, we have Josh Smith. Every time he attempted a three-pointer, he gave the coach a heart attack. If you want to know why, 28.5%, that's why. Number 4 is a current All-Star and MVP candidate. Can you guess? DeMar DeRozan is often called a mid-range king and is one of the best shooters in the NBA, between 10 to 18 feet from the basket. In 2012, 10 years ago, 30% of all shots in the NBA were mid-range shots, compared to only 13% in the 2022 season. While most of the NBA has taken a step back for the extra point, DeRozan was always reluctant to fire from deep. And while DeMar converts mid-range shots at a 50% clip, which is among the best marks in the NBA, he's only a 28.7% shooter from 3 in his career. At 28.9%, number 5, the 5-time NBA champion, Ron Harper, known for his stellar defense and not his shooting. Number 6, with 29% from 3 for his career, is another Hall of Famer, Isaiah Thomas. In Zeke's defense, he came to the NBA in 1981, just 2 seasons after the NBA introduced a three-point shot. Back then, almost no one was great at shooting threes. In the 1980 NBA Finals, when Magic won the Finals MVP, just 1 3 was made in the entire Finals series by both teams. And the first year of the three-pointer, in 6 games, the Lakers and the Sixers made just 1 3 out of 20 attempts. But in the 2016 NBA Finals, Steph Curry made 32 threes by himself. Like Isaiah, our 7th worst shooter, Giannis Antetokounmpo, sports a 29% shooting clip from the three-point land, and his shooting struggles gained a lot of notoriety in recent years. You may be surprised with this next player, another future Hall of Famer. Dwayne Wade was a mid-range assassin. Flash did all of his damage inside the arc, crowning himself as the 8th worst all-time three-point shooter with 29.2%. As the final members of the top 10 most terrible three-point shooters with more than 1,000 attempts, we have 1991 Rookie of the Year and an All-Star, Derek Coleman, alongside the 1987 4th overall pick, Reggie Williams, who also shot below 30% from deep. For all the Lakers fans waiting on Russell Westbrook and his atrocious shooting, don't worry, Russ is the worst ever three-point shooter among those with more than 2,500 attempts. He's making only 30.5% of his threes, but he still thinks it's okay to hoist nearly 4 threes per game. Poor LeBron. Other famous bricklayers like Ben Simmons, Tony Allen, and Dennis Rodman would also make this list, but they didn't shoot enough to qualify. Ben Simmons has made just 5 threes in his NBA career. Out of 34 shots, that's less than 15%. Worst free throw shooters. A lot of people think Shaq is the worst free throw shooter ever. So bad, other teams intentionally fouled him, which coined the phrase hack-a-Shaq. But O'Neal is only the 5th worst shooter from the foul line, with a 52.7% career mark. Shaq was supposedly an 80% free throw shooter in practice, but it seems like the big fella didn't like the pressure of being isolated at the line. Undoubtedly the biggest Achilles heel of his career. When Rick Barry suggested to him that he shoots underhanded like him, Shaq declined, even though Barry was one of the best foul shooters ever. O'Neal said, "Granny style may be effective, but he's too hip-hop for that, and he'd rather miss than shoot like that." But even Grandma wouldn't miss 11 free throws in a row. Shaq was such a terrible shooter that he missed all 11 freebies in a game, which is an NBA record for most misses without a make. Next, at 51.1% from the line, we have Wilt Chamberlain, Shaq's only true predecessor. And just like O'Neal, Wilt could hardly be stopped during live action, and that's why his opponents had no choice but to foul him. For a while, Chamberlain even shot underhanded, but nothing helped. He's the all-time NBA leader in missed free throws, with 5,805 misses. Even worse, we have DeAndre Jordan, one of 3 NBA players in history with less than a 50% success rate from the foul line. Against all odds, DJ showed signs of progress, shooting 70% in 2019 and 2020, but he relapsed to his bricking habits, and his career free throw rate is a lowly 47.5%. Charles Barkley had a killer quote about DeAndre's complete lack of a jump shot. If you locked him in a gym by himself overnight and told him he couldn't dunk, he'd have 6 points in the morning. In the top 2, another active player on this list is Andre Drummond with 47.1%. In 2016, when he made his first All-Star team, Drummond only made 35% of his free throws, and he holds the record for most missed free throws in a game with 23. But far below everybody else, a 41.4% career foul shooter, we have Ben Wallace. Man shot for 33.6% free throws in 2001, the worst mark of all time. Field goal percentage. As far as field goal percentage is concerned, things get complicated when discussing the worst shooters in history. Let me explain. In Bill Russell's rookie season, the league average for field goal percentage was 38%, and Neil Johnston led the league in efficiency at only 44% shooting for the field. That's why the worst shooters in history, with a minimum of 2,000 attempts, are from the 40s and 50s. John Mencken, who played in the inaugural NBA season in 1946 until 1953, holds the worst field goal percentage in history. Mencken, a 6'8" center, shot just 27% from the field in his 7 NBA seasons. His contemporary Joe Fulks holds an NBA record for most missed field goals in a game, with 42 misses out of 55 attempts. Yikes. Among today's players, Devontae Graham, Marcus Smart, and Stanley Johnson have the worst career field goal percentages. With a success rate of just 38%, they're the only active players to rank among the 100 worst field goal shooters of all time.